Astrid, thank you. And joining us now to dive deeper into the impact COVID-19 is having on our children, family mental health expert Dr. Norman Freed, also joined by assistant professor at the University of Michigan, Dr. Rihanna Elise Anderson. Thank you both for joining us this afternoon and welcome to BNC Live. So our first question for you, we are going to start with Dr. Freed. COVID taking such a toll on children's mental health, will this impact their development in school since most of them are now back in the classroom?
It's a challenging question, but the answer is we have to wait and see. We are anticipating that the return, the reentry into school is a difficult one for most of these children. And that's because they spent a year virtually in front of a computer and not really engaging in what we call interpersonal skills that come from one-on-one direct contact. We have mirror neurons in our eyes that are not being utilized when we're defended by a screen, and the neurotransmitters in our brains are not really allowing us to experience that rush, that oxytocin, that dopamine that happens when we are connected face to face with our teacher and our student. There will be some changes, there'll be some moments of getting back to what we might consider normal. It will take a while, but I'd like to believe that our children will end up having learned a lot about how to make it through a difficult situation and apply that into their ongoing years ahead.
Dr. Anderson, how can a parent recognize that their child's mental health might be suffering?
Such a great question, and it's one that we think about often. If you look at maybe experiences that you have at the dinner table, where you used to talk about certain things, you have conversations on Mondays about family connections or school, and that child is now silent, or that child is not coming out of their room like they used to on a Saturday, exploding with energy. They're now sleeping more, they're eating more. Those are some of the signs that we might say, okay, our child's baseline is off. The things that we were used to with them experiencing and exploring are now different. And that's data for you as a parent that you can then take back to your child and say, wait a minute, I've noticed these things. Can you tell me a bit about how it is that you're feeling? How can I support you to get back to the kid that you used to be? So, those are some of the things, the signs, especially when we're talking about depression, anxiety, and stress, sleeping, eating, energy, excitement about doing things. Those are some of the kiddo specific things that we might be looking at.
And Dr. Freed, I saw you shaking your head. Did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I loved what you were saying, and I wanted to just add that we know that if children do not cry with their eyes, they will cry with another behavior, right? So that we'll see irritability or low frustration tolerance, as well as poor sleeping and changes in appetite. But we might also see difficulty with peer relations, as well as poor concentration in school and fighting with parents. Also, there may be a change in our bodily function. We may not sleep as well, we may not be as hungry, we may end up having back pains. These are children's ways of saying, I'm scared, I'm worried, I'm sad. And if we listen to their body and their behavior, as much as we listen to their words, we're going to be able to reach them in a beautiful, healthy way.
All right, Dr. Anderson, how do you recommend parents help their kids find that balance?
I really just want to go back to this idea of making sure that the lines of communication are open. So I mentioned being able to sit down for the families that are able to do that, to have that time with one another. That's a really great way of thinking together out loud about on a Monday, we're going to take stock of how it is that you're feeling, what happened from the weekend, how do we plan for the week that we want it to look like. Because we know that folks are experiencing challenges. It would not make sense to tell our kids, oh, just get all over it. Everything is fine. We're out of this puppy. It's a year and a half of our lives that's in the past. You don't have to think about it from such a dismissive standpoint. You can acknowledge what it is that they're feeling and what they're experiencing, but you can also plan for the type of life that you want to lead. You can take stock of what it is that you all have as familial resources to support your child in the life that you would want them to live.
Dr. Freed, Dr. Anderson, thank you for joining us. And you